I spent an entire day eating like the marathon goat, Eliud Kipchoge, to find out if this secret Kenyan food is the key to running faster. Good morning. Now, I, like many people around the world, are a Weet-Bix kid. Weet-Bix kids. And it breaks my heart that I'm gonna have to go an entire day without eating these beloved Wheatie biscuits. Eliud, on the other hand, is not a Weet-Bix kid. He's a bread and tea kid. Now, Eliud doesn't really eat a lot for breakfast. He usually only has bread and a tea and maybe a banana. And on race days, sometimes he'll even have oatmeal. That should be all right. So let's break this down. What do we actually have in common? Well, we both have 2 legs and we both run, and we can both run a sub 20-minute 5K, and we're both bald. So that's pretty much it. Eliud is an absolute genetic freak, and I am absolutely average. And it seems like Eliud doesn't do anything average, including his tea consumption. How's the mug, eh? Pretty cool. Here's what's interesting. In Kenya, they drink so much tea, and they add lots and lots of sugar to each cup of tea to make sure that they're replenishing all of their glycogen stores. Now, it didn't say on the internet how much tea they actually drink, but Eliud said in an interview that it didn't say on the internet how much tea Eliud actually drinks, but he said in an interview that it was a lot. So I Googled what a lot actually means, and that's 6 cups of tea per day. And for a non-caffeine drinker, this is pretty significant. So wish me luck. Hopefully this doesn't go too bad. Now, as you can tell, Eliud doesn't really eat a great deal in the mornings because he, like most runners, likes to run more on an empty stomach. I'm carrying a bit of an injury at the moment, and so I'm gonna skip the running and do some riding on the bike instead. Now, I've seen a lot of those Kenyan training videos, and for sure they're taking on nutrition during their workouts because you see them taking all of the bottles from the cars. So I think it's pretty fair for me to have these running gels. And from what I could tell on the internet, the work ratio between running and cycling is around 2.5 to 1, meaning that you have to do 2.5 times more running to get the same cardiovascular benefit, which basically means that I'm gonna have to be cycling for about 4 hours, and I've never rode a bike for 4 hours. So this might be an absolute disaster. I guess we'll find out. Also, I'm not a cycler, I'm a runner, so I'm gonna be wearing running gear. All right, that's enough cycling. We're a running channel, hey guys. I am cooked. Also, my anus hurts really bad from that seat, and I wish I could just go running, but I can't. Oh well. Okay, post-run snack, or for me, post-ride snack. Banana and another tea. That's 2 for today. I love bananas. I probably have around 5 per day on my normal day when I'm not trying to eat like a Kenyan. So this is a big win for me. And of course, something that I forgot to mention before is water, because he's drinking 3 to 4 liters of water per day. And once again, if you're an athlete, you're probably gonna be taking in 3 liters a day anyway. So we should have that pretty much covered. Now, as I mentioned in other videos, the key to running faster and not getting injured is recovery, and trying to recover as much as possible. And that's what Eliud does after his morning run and his morning banana, a nap. And here's the interesting thing about this is these guys are having naps in the middle of the day after they've already had a couple of cups of tea, which to me is ridiculous, because after a couple of cups of tea, I feel like I'm on a different wavelength of reality, like I'm entering the Matrix or something. But like the goat, it's time for some much needed rest. So let's go take a nap. Oh, I left my tea bag in. So Eliud, if you're watching this, sweet dreams. But also subscribe. All right guys, time for my nap, hey? Just kidding, I have to go to work. And this once again highlights the main differences between amateur athletes and complete casuals like myself and elite athletes like Eliud. We just don't have enough time to recover as much as they do, so we're never gonna be as fast or as durable as them, unless I win the lottery. Then I could sleep for 14 hours a day and run 100 miles a week. All right, I'm off to work. I'll see you guys after. Oh, by the way, tea sucks. I'm never having it again after today.
3 hours later.
Work is done, and so it's time for lunch. And I've been waiting for this all day. Yeah. It's gonna be great. This is gonna be great, except the tea. Oh, I gotta have another one. So rice, beans in a tomato sauce with a capsicum, some cabbage, onion, and some flatbread, which they call chapati, but I couldn't really find that in the shops, so I just got Mexican tortillas. Should work, right? Ah! One thing that I really like about Kenyan cooking is that it's not overly complicated, and it's kept very simple with no kinds of herbs and spices added. And here's why this is so important. Tea number 3, by the way. Overly palatable foods tend to result in people overeating on stuff that they probably shouldn't. So keeping it super simple means that you get more in tune with your body and how it feels and the kinds of foods that it wants. And this is what the Kenyans are doing really well. Plus it also helps with digestion. One of the biggest things going around at the moment in the West is trying to hit every single nutrient on chronometer every single day. And it leads to having meals where there's 15,000 different ingredients. And how are you supposed to digest that quickly and effectively, especially compared to stuff like rice and things like this? This is so much quicker, and it means that you're gonna recover way faster. And eating like this, especially for lunch, allows you to not have the risk of gut distress before your second workout, which is pretty good. This is absolutely delicious, by the way. And I get to have a banana for dessert. How good is this? Now, while I finish this off, I'm gonna watch some real running YouTubers, so I'll see you in about 5 minutes.
5 minutes later.
Now this would be about the time in the day where Eliud would start to do some light gym work before going out for his second run. And his second run is going to be slightly shorter than the one that he did in the morning. And I'll be following along with the gym session, but there's no way that I'm going to do a second ride. And there's 2 reasons why. Reason number 1 is my anus still hurts from sitting in that bike saddle for 3.5 hours. So doing that again, I'm not really keen on. And number 2 is that I haven't actually recovered today. Because rather than having a rest like Eliud did and going to bed and having a sleep, I just went to work. So all of that work that I did in the morning, I'm not even recovered from yet. So I would probably be digging myself into this fatigue hole that I just can't get myself out of today. But yes, no second ride, but after my 4th or 5th tea, whatever the bloody hell it is so far, I will be doing my gym session.
You're a quitter. You're not anything like Eliud Kipchoge.
You're not elite. I'm unsubscribing. God damn it. All right, I'm going for another ride. All right, I'm absolutely done. I'm done. Second ride, I'm not a quitter. Don't unsubscribe. I got some corn flour. Let's go make something with this. Oh, I have the gym to do. So this was actually really hard for me to piece together, and it's really not documented what Eliud does during his gym sessions. I was able to find this awesome routine on an NN Running YouTube video, so I tried to piece it together for you guys so we can do it together. Also, while I'm doing this voiceover, I'm having another tea. Please help me. That was fun, but this thing is really hard, and it actually really made my hips quite sore. Okay, the best meal of the day, dinner, and a new one for me. I'm gonna be making ugali, a classic Kenyan dish made from corn flour or maize flour. Basically what you do is you mix it with water and put a bit of salt in a pan, and you cook it until it becomes like this little fluffy cake thing. Well, if you know what you're doing, that's basically what it should come out as, but I don't. Okay, heat the water, slowly pour the corn flour into the boiling water. Avoid forming lumps. So the water's boiling. Is this the right diet for you? Well, it depends on what you actually value in life. If you're really type A and performance focused and you want to squeeze every last second out of your 5K or your marathon, then doing a diet like this that is really bare bones and simple is gonna help you with digestion. It's gonna help you replenish all your carb stores and make sure that you're ready to go every day. Cook for 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, quick update. I burnt the first one. I didn't really know what I was doing. So I watched a YouTube video about it and I figured it out, and this one's looking much better. But socially, this diet would be a disaster. Because where are you gonna get ugali from? So what do you value more? Do you value the social aspect of eating, or do you value the performance? I personally value more performance, so this diet works really well for me, but you might be different. So I definitely messed it up. The ugali is very gloopy, and I just couldn't quite get all of the lumps to stop forming. So there we go, gloopy ugali. Doesn't sound good, does it? And according to Eliud, this is his favorite food ever, so he will definitely not be coming over to my house to have ugali, that's for sure. Now, I eat pretty similarly to this each day, but I opt to eat only rice rather than all these different starches. And for me personally, having this many different starches in one day is gonna wreak havoc on my digestive system, probably tomorrow. And the tea, it's just too much for me, especially for someone who doesn't really drink that much caffeine at all. And I'm stopping after this one because I'm definitely not gonna sleep tonight. Not very well anyway. But this diet, and most importantly, the entire lifestyle together, works obviously really well for Eliud and other Kenyans who are running really fast times all year round. Because carbs are king when it comes to endurance training, and these guys are smashing in the carbs like no one else. Now, if you're interested in understanding how Eliud runs and why his running form is so fast, then you can watch this next video that I made a couple of months ago about his running form. So I'll see you guys over there. Peace. I'm gonna be up all night.